Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a truly fascinating astrological archetype, Mercury in the fifth house. This is a placement that literally turns intellect into an art form. Okay, let's dive right into this. So, have you ever fallen in love with someone just because of their witty banter? I mean, we all know the type, right? That person who can hold an entire room captive with a perfectly timed joke, or make your heart skip a beat with a really sharply observant text message. We've all felt the pull of intellectual attraction. Well, today, we're going to explore the ancient Vedic blueprint behind this exact kind of charm and mental agility. To demystify all this, here's our quick agenda. We'll look at the master of witty words, romance of the mind, careers and communication, the dark side of wit, and finally, finding cosmic balance. Let's get to it. Section 1, the master of witty words. Okay, before we just drop Mercury into the mix, let's talk about the foundation. In Vedic astrology, the fifth house is known as Buddhisthana. It is basically the foundational playing field for your intelligence, your creativity, romantic love, children, and even calculated speculation. It's a highly dynamic, really playful area of your birth chart. And what's super fascinating here is how the ancient texts view this. When you take Mercury, which is the planet of logic, analysis, and language, and you place it into this dynamic house of intelligence, the classic text, Brihatparashara Shastra, says it gives the native a fine intellect, or sukshmadi. It basically acts as a massive amplifier for the mind. So what does this actually look like in everyday life? Well, people with this placement carry this incredible childlike curiosity and a super agile mind with them all the time. They are the ultimate witty conversationalists. They treat wordplay, puns, and metaphors like an absolute playground. And actually, because they understand human communication on such an intrinsic level, they are naturally skilled at mimicry and acting. Seriously, a ton of famous stand-up comedians have this exact placement. Combine that with an exceptional memory and some really inventive ways to beat boredom, and you've got someone who can effortlessly study complex stuff like astrology or just entertain a room full of friends for hours. Moving on to Section 2, Romance of the Mind. All right, so in Vedic astrology, the fifth house is intimately tied to romantic sentiment, which is known as Shringarasa. But when Mercury hangs out here, it filters those big, sweeping romantic feelings through a totally logical lens. For this archetype, love literally begins in the brain. Way before the heart can even think about getting involved, their mind absolutely must be stimulated by fast-paced, captivating conversation. Think about it like this. While the average person might focus really heavily on physical looks or that immediate emotional spark, for someone with Mercury in the fifth house, deep intellectual chemistry is a non-negotiable prerequisite. You could have a physically stunning partner, but if they lack sharp banter, they're going to lose this person's attention so fast. They need someone who can spar with them mentally. The really great thing about dating a partner with this placement is that you never have to guess how they feel. They express their love explicitly through language. These are the folks writing you thoughtful notes, sending clever little observations throughout the day, and using really sharp, playful humor to build intimacy. And their memory is just wild. They will mentally catalog super specific details from a conversation you had months ago, just to prove they were actually listening. Their affection is entirely driven by their curiosity. Section 3, Careers in Communication. Now, as we established a minute ago, the fifth house governs speculation and risk. But while most people might look at the stock market and just go off their emotional gut feelings, Mercury strips all that emotion away. This gives these individuals the ability to tackle financial markets using pure data, logic, and analytical speculation. They just run the numbers, which obviously gives them a massive structural advantage when it comes to building wealth. Because they can take complex ideas and effortlessly simplify them, they make very natural teachers and coaches. But their ideal professional paths are super broad. They thrive in writing and content creation. Thanks to their mix of creative problem solving and logic, they are brilliant in game design and tech software. You'll also find them totally dominating in quantitative finance, trading, public speaking, and debate. Basically, if a career requires a mind that is constantly engaged in communicating, they are going to crush it. It's really interesting to see how this energy shifts depending on the zodiac sign, too. For a Gemini ascendant, the person becomes incredibly adaptable, gaining massively through education, though, yeah, they're definitely prone to overthinking. For Virgo, career success comes specifically through creativity, and they actually gain public recognition for their mental abilities. Capricorn takes this placement and uses it to build huge businesses and manage wealth wisely, even if they might struggle a bit to express raw emotion. And Taurus, they become top-tier communicators with a mind built perfectly for debate. Which brings us to section 4, the dark side of wit. So this is a truly fascinating pitfall. Because they are so skilled with narrative and language, they can sometimes slip into being the excellent liar. Now, usually, this isn't malicious at all. It's really just a tendency to inflate a story, exaggerating reality just to make it a little funnier or more dramatic, purely to get a bigger reaction from their audience. But the warning here is that a straightforward conversation is almost always better than putting on a big theatrical production. When you constantly exaggerate for effect, you dilute the actual reality of your relationships. Plus, having a mind that runs at 100 miles an hour takes a very real physical toll. In Vedic medical astrology, the 5th house rules your stomach and your heart, while Mercury rules the nervous system. You put those together, and mental overactivity starts disrupting their physical balance. We are talking nervous digestion and stomach issues. They can put stress on their heart because they're constantly overanalyzing and intellectualizing their emotions instead of just feeling them. Add in a strong ego that might occasionally cross a line just to land a joke, and you get deep, deep exhaustion from a mind that literally refuses to quiet down. Finally, section 5, finding cosmic balance. The good news is we can take these abstract astrological remedies and turn them into a totally practical, step-by-step checklist to restore that balance. Step 1 is using sound by chanting the Mercury mantra, Om Bum Budaya Nama, specifically on Wednesdays. Step 2 is traditional gem therapy, like wearing an emerald on the right little finger, though always consult a professional first. Step 3 grounds the energy through action, donating green lentils, or even better, giving books and educational materials to students. And finally, Step 4 is absolutely crucial. Cultivate a mindful lifestyle by intentionally stepping away from screens. Seriously, they have to give their nervous system a break from the constant flow of information. So, to wrap things up, Mercury in the 5th house undeniably gives you the superpower to talk your way into absolutely anything. A brilliant career, an epic romance, a room completely captivated by your laughter. But with a mind that is so incredibly loud and active, are you ever quiet enough to actually listen to what the universe is telling you?